You decided where the story went, and now it's time to see how things play out. Welcome back to the Butter Bunch. My name is Jacob Butter, and I'm back with another Dragon Ball What If discussion. By the very nature of this What If story, we have a very different and much more plentiful pool of active characters, both heroes and anti-heroes, several of whom are at much higher power level than they were in the original story, which I know for a fact most of you clamour for all the time. This finally came to a head when the Ginyu Force showed up in the story. Unlike their continued appearance of What If Piccolo had a son, here most of them didn't survive the last part. But Ginyu is still here, and he's about to face a highly powered duo of Saiyan brothers. In case anyone was wondering how their Kaioken figures got so high last time, it's down to good old-fashioned Zenkai. After the battle in the Saiyan saga, Raditz boosted up to 20,000 and Goku to 18,000. Goku's power improved 9 times during his gravity training in the original story, and Masako estimated in several what-ifs that with another person there of equal or similar power to his, he would actually increase to 10 times gains. Or, well, they both would. There is, however, one thing Masako doesn't tend to mention: senzu beans. Goku had a finite amount heading off to Namek, so now he has to share the same batch between 2 people. So they got the gains, but they ran out of beans some time ago. Either way, Goku ended up at 180,000 before Kaioken this time rather than after like in the original, so his power was up to 360,000 in this iteration. Raditz has kept his head start and position of mentor as the older brother and reached 200,000 or 400,000 in Kaioken. Frieza's gonna flip later. Just thought I'd clear that up in case anyone thought I was pulling those numbers out of thin air. If we were working with publishing restrictions, they'd only be as powerful as the story would allow, but nope. We don't do that on the Butter Bunch. Butterfly effect all the way, thank you very much. Okay, enough maths. Let's get back into the story. You've all waited long enough. Last time, I asked all of you who should Ginyu swap bodies with in this part. For quite some time afterwards, the votes were actually neck and neck. But since I took such a long hiatus from all the what-ifs, as I explained in part 8 of the Piccolo story, the votes slowly started climbing in Raditz's favour, until the final figures, which at the time of writing this script, are 24 in favour of Raditz and 17 for Goku. So, thank you all for voting. Let's go with this. In a last-ditch effort to save himself and avenge his fallen comrades, Ginyu injures himself like in the original and fires a mouth blast towards one of his assailants. He chooses Goku because he wouldn't know what he was up to. But Raditz actually jumps in the way, protecting his brother. The technique takes effect and their consciousnesses mix. Goku immediately goes to check on who he thinks is Raditz, only to receive a mighty gut punch, which does nothing. Yeah, remember how Ginyu couldn't tap into Goku's power originally? Well, here it's the same thing. He carried the element of surprise, but if he had someone else who's a scouter right now, it would display a reading of only 50,000. Still leagues above everyone else, but the only effect on Goku was him wondering why exactly his brother just attacked him.
Kakarot! Be careful! That's not Raditz anymore!
Ginyu Raditz then tries to blast Vegeta out of existence, but Goku reacts and gets him out of the way.
What do you mean that's not Raditz?
Vegeta then pointed to Raditz Ginyu, bleeding out in the corner. The being looks over and pulls an expression Goku recognized and tries to give him a thumbs up. Goku understood and was horrified. Ginyu Raditz attacks again, still not tapping into that much power, but Goku was too stunned to react at first, limiting himself to dodges and blocks while he tried to process what had just happened.
Kakarot, get a hold of yourself! Stop holding back!
But Goku can't do it. He can't bring himself to injure his brother, even if Raditz was seemingly safe, albeit bleeding out because Ginyu did in fact injure himself before transforming. Despite all of that, Goku knew that if he dispatched of Raditz's body right now, he still needed a way to swap them back. Ginyu Raditz exploited this, firing blasts periodically at the injured crowd, which Goku had to either block with his body or blast away himself, leaving him open to attack. This is how Ginyu kept himself in the fight, increasing in power by the second. Vegeta hobbles towards the hut, shouting for Dende, but Piccolo has a better plan.
Nail, get them all inside. I know how to handle Goku.
Gohan wants to protest, but Piccolo waves a tired hand at him.
Relax, I'm not gonna do anything stupid. Just get your father to do something smart.
Gohan can't argue with that logic. So he goes with Nail willingly, when Goku has Ginyu Raditz distracted. Once they're all out of harm's way, Piccolo yells out,
Hey, Goku!
"What?"
Dragon Balls!
Goku blocks a couple more hits. "What?"
No, for Kami's sake. Look! If you beat him now, we can use the Dragon Balls later to swap them back. We're gonna have 2 sets now!
Goku pauses. "Hey, that's actually a pretty good idea." Ginyu Raditz gets one more punch in, but right afterwards, Goku powers up to Kaioken ×3 and pretty much ends the fight there and then. Ginyu Raditz is alive, but he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Well, that was the idea anyway. Ginyu Raditz fires another body swap ray, and once again, Raditz jumps in between, now fully healed. So Ginyu returns his original body, but before we even try to process what had just happened, he was immediately blasted by a big bang attack from Vegeta, who somehow jumped from 30,000 to 250,000 in one Zenkai at this point in the story. Don't ask how. There was a comment on the last part by Teo SK Firesteam that might explain this, but I'm going to save discussion of that for next time. Being now over twice as strong as Ginyu, the prince quickly wastes the captain. The Ginyu Force were gone for good. While the prince was celebrating, the others went to check on Raditz, who was now almost immobile on the ground. Dende tries to heal him, but his wounds are too deep. So Nappa suggests they head to Frieza's ship and try to use the healing pot that he has.
Nappa, that won't work. Frieza's bound to be waiting there for a report. We'll have to distract him.
But Nappa picks up Ginyu's scouter and freezes up for a second.
We don't have to worry about that, Vegeta. And why is that?
Because he's headed in this direction. Sure enough, Frieza has noticed the Ginyus falling one by one, and now wish to handle the situation himself. Nail and Dende tense up. They can't let Guru come to harm by the Emperor.
I have a plan. Piccolo, I need to stay here with me. The rest of you get to Frieza's ship.
Everyone complies. Nappa carrying the injured Raditz with him, and Yamcha holding on to Guru's Dragon Ball. Dende also heals Goku up discreetly once Vegeta had taken off, the prince too keen to find the Dragon Balls known as Goku's latest Zenkai. They all break apart and fly in different directions to circle around Frieza's trajectory, because the tyrant was beelining towards the hut as fast as possible, ready to snuff out all those who dare destroy his most loyal warriors. They'll be begging for death when I'm done with them. So originally, I was going to end the video there. But then I realized that that total time would probably equate to about 9 minutes worth of content. So I thought, no, I can't just give you 9 minutes of the most waited for what if that I have done. I've kept you waiting for the gestation time of a human being. So I need to do this properly. Let's actually do the fight against Frieza and how that goes down. Frieza is still on his way, so Nail has to act quickly. He tells Piccolo of his plan and what it entails. Allowing his Earthborn companion to be the dominant personality, the pair fuse into a being they hope will be powerful enough to defeat Frieza. How do they do exactly? Well, since Nail wasn't the least bit injured thanks to Dende, and Piccolo had his potential unlocked before, their power level skyrockets beyond what either of them could have ever imagined. They of course engage the tyrant immediately, once he arrives, and actually manage to catch him off guard. Frieza fires a death beam at Piccolo, but much like Goku did in the original, he simply deflects it. After a rush of more beams and some desperate attacks which do next to nothing, Frieza decides that this isn't a problem. He'll simply transform into his second form. That ought to... Nope. Still no reaction. Okay then. Let's try the third form and... Oh. No difference? Alright, no biggie. Final form it is. There's no way this creature could— What? How is this possible? Well, Frieza, luckily I'm here to help you out. It's time for some good old-fashioned mathematics. In the original, Piccolo arrived on Namek having trained with King Kai and had attained a power level of 85,000 according to Lord Aizen on YouTube, which then rose to 1,500,000 after fusing with a completely weakened Nail. This supposes a power multiplier of 17.64705,88235, yada yada. In this story, the last reading I gave for Piccolo was 80,400. This was directly after getting its potential unlocked. And based on research conducted by Sophie B. Powerhouse, the potential unlock increases your power over time until it caps at a certain point. Conveniently, this was right before the battle with Frieza in canon. Sophie calculated that Gohan's power increased by 14.285 times, but this was including Zenkai. Krillin, on the other hand, rose by 5.769. I'm going to suppose that Piccolo is somewhere in the middle, especially since the potential release is a Namekian technique, and his potential is higher than Krillin's. So I went with a 6.8 times multiplier, resulting in a reading of 546,720, or about 437 Raditz. Taking this reading and Nail's fully healed power of 42,000, and multiply that number by 17.64 blah 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 blah, and you get... Oh my. 10,389,176.4706. Over 8,311 Raditz. Piccolo is now 10 times stronger than his canon self at this point, and able to take on Frieza at 9% of his power.
What? 9%? There's no way that can be right, Ken!
Even at 10%, Piccolo's superior martial arts skills and ability to sense ki have the Emperor on the ropes. Having sensed the rising powers, both Goku and Vegeta had backtracked to the battleground, but were almost too afraid to proceed any further. Almost. It's Goku and Vegeta, folks. Goku announces their presence to Frieza, and both Ice Demon and Super Namekian stop what they're doing. Vegeta, who's still hopelessly outmatched by all of them, puts on a brave face.
That's right, Frieza. It's time for the legendary Super Saiyan to stop you.
Now, this is normally the point where Vegeta would try to spam Zenkai, but unfortunately, Dende is not there to heal him. He's busy with the others doing something else. Once Goku and Vegeta wade in, Goku powering up to Kaioken times 10 to match Piccolo's power, they spend a short while assisting in the battle as Frieza reaches 50%. And by a short time, I mean like 3 episodes. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Gotta make sure the manga can get ahead. But while this goes on, suddenly the sky grows dark and Vegeta realizes he's made a terrible mistake.
Mine.
The prince tries to retreat, but you're not going anywhere. He fires a death beam at point-blank range. Vegeta is dead. His chance to wish for immortality was squandered. Speaking of wishes, there was never really a need to wish Piccolo and Kami back this time, so they're able to just wish Krillin and Chaozu back. Dende requested to save a wish in case everything went pear-shaped. Alas, this is where Guru's heart gives out at last and the balls turn to inert stones. And with Goku and Piccolo slowly outmatched and tiring out, the chance for Namek's salvation seems to dwindle completely. That is until, well, you know what happens. The pod finishes doing its thing and Raditz is released, flying at speeds Berta could only dream of, but not Kujang, and straight up sends Frieza flying in one surprise punch. Alright, so how powerful is Raditz? Well, here's some more quick maths from you, right after I clear out some memory on my phone to record this on. Okay, memory's clear, no more interruptions. Let's get this over with. In canon, Goku's base power was 90,000, and it went up to 3 million. This is to say it was 90,000 when he first arrived on Namek, not when he powered up to 180,000, etc. That whole combination and thing happened in the original. These numbers indicate that we need to multiply the value of Raditz's power by 100 and then divide it by 3. So that's what I did. 200,000 times 100 divided by 3 equals 6,666,666.666 blah 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 blah. You get the idea. Let's just say 6.7 million for the sake of simplicity. At first, Frieza laughs at feeble little Raditz, since at this point he's still at 50%. But Raditz also goes to Kaioken times 10 and Frieza's in trouble. Of course, he could deal with this new threat by simply going up to 60%, maybe 70%, but Raditz doesn't let him. The cowardly and strategic dog's body had now been top dog for a long time. He was determined to end the fight quickly before Frieza can pull a fast one. Problem is, Frieza's good at pulling fast ones. Blinded by overconfidence, Raditz dodges an attack from Frieza, which wasn't aimed for him at all, but at his own brother. The Emperor encases Goku in that energy ball from the original, and uses him as a shield against Raditz. As quickly as he can, he powers up to 100%, wasting no more time, and keeps his hostages close before making a move. Raditz looks utterly horrified, and Frieza relishes in seeing him frozen and shaking and putting his hands in the air. Of course, he doesn't know what Raditz is up to, but we do, and so did Piccolo. In a mirror scene from Raditz's arrival, he charges up a special beam cannon and fires at Frieza from behind. It doesn't go through him or Goku, but it does loosen the Emperor's grip. Now completely manic, Frieza wails on Piccolo, just pummeling him like in the original. Meanwhile, Goku gets the signal from his brother and actually joins him in charging it up. In just 2 minutes, more energy than ever was gathered from the very much alive Namek and neighboring planets.
What even is that? What is that?
And those were the Emperor's last words. Completely forgetting about Piccolo, he grapples with the Spirit Bomb, but is eventually overwhelmed by the greatest explosion the galaxy had ever known, excluding planet destruction. Raditz, Goku, and Piccolo were blown away for miles. Once the dust clears, our heroes stand up and look around. There is no sign of Frieza, for indeed no trace was left of him. The galaxy's biggest threat was gone. The Spirit Bomb had actually worked. And that is where we conclude things for the time being. That's right, thanks to power increases, there was no need to go Super Saiyan. No threat of Namek blowing up, and they can all simply go home. Well, with my chance of another poll like last episode successfully snuffed, possibly for good, I'm gonna try anyway. Goku doesn't go to Yardrat here, obviously, and simply comes home with no further training, meaning he's at home with Chi-Chi at a time when he wasn't meant to be there originally. So, my question to all of you hopeless romantics out there is, do they have another kid? And if so, boy or girl? Let me know in the poll in the comments below. And in fact, same for Raditz and Bulma. I've put 4 comments below: Son Boy, Son Girl, Briefs Boy, and Briefs Girl. Vote like you did last time, and if you have any name suggestions, put them underneath the comments themselves. But most importantly, let me know your thoughts by means of liking or disliking and leaving your comments on where the discussion could go. I'll see you all soon enough for another Butter Bunch video. Toodle pip.